Broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Here's your host, Andrew Romanella.
Okay? Like, just get the hell out of here. Nobody cares what you think if you're not a Mets fan.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome in to an at-home New Year's Eve edition of The Rome Show, broadcasting live here on YouTube.com/The Romanella's, Twitter X, and Instagram, The Rome Show 1, The Rome Show on Facebook. I am your host, Andrew Romanella, and I am excited to be back at home in our hometown studios for a December 31st, 2025 New Year's Eve edition of The Rome Show. I got the top 5 in the National Football League for you, which we do every single week, but this is the final one of the regular season. I have my top 4 moments of 2025 from the Rome Show. I also have one lesson for the people that I learned in the year 2025 that I believe needs to be taken with you to the year 2026. And then finally, we have our Whatcha Watchin'.
Watchin'
for the New Year's weekend, which I think is very important for the people. So those are the pleasantries. We get into it. Remember, the Rome Show 1, Twitter X, and Instagram if you want to get in on the action. That's on the bottom left-hand side of your screen, or youtube.com/The Romanellas. I urge you to hit the subscribe button on either of those sites. I hope you like my new car display here in the front of the Rome Show studios. Been working on some Legos with the nieces and nephews, and we are starting a Lego display in the front side of the pod studio. So that'll probably be what's new for me during the 2026 year, is we're working on this studio to a degree. All right, people. Let's get going. We're going NFL top 5, week 18. This is my final top 5 of the regular season. Now, there is a lot that can happen in the National Football League going into Saturday and Sunday. We have all those scenarios for you here, and we will go through all of those scenarios as we make our way through our top 5. The one thing I'm going to say before I even go fully into who my 5 NFL top teams are heading into week 18 is it is exactly what we expected it to be. The teams that we thought were the best teams in the league a few weeks ago are maybe not even close to what we thought they were. The teams that in the first 4 or 5 weeks were elite at the beginning of the year, some of them aren't even in the postseason, let alone coming as close to what we thought they were when the season started. And it goes back to the point I made yesterday when I was in Western New York on location, the Rome Show podcast, wherever you get your podcast. If you did not see or hear that show, I talked about fanship in sports, and then I took it deeper into the National Football League and understanding how good your team is or how good your team isn't. There's a 3-step process to this in the National Football League. Weeks 1 through 4 or 5, weeks 5 through about 11 or 12, and then like weeks 12 through the end of the season. Rome Show podcast. I'm not going back through that rant, but the point is the point. Okay? We don't know. It's a crapshoot. It could literally be one of, in my opinion, 10 different teams that have the ability, that have the firepower, and probably have the coaching staff like bias or non-bias, I'm on the side of the coach. I don't understand how people could think that not having one of the best coaches is you can still win at the highest level in sports. I don't believe that's a thing. I don't believe it in baseball with analytics. I don't believe it in football with, well, if you have the best quarterback and you have one of the best defenses, the coach just needs to stay out of the way. Actually, no, the coach needs the game plan so that you stay the best defense, you stay the best quarterback, and so on and so forth. But I digress. The point is the parity. And this NFL playoffs, especially with no Kansas City Chiefs to go through, no singular one team in the National Football Conference, the NFC, to you and me, that you could say, dang, they're like the Eagles were last year, where it felt like, man, it really felt like the Eagles and Saquon Barkley were running into a collision course with the Lombardi Trophy. There's none of that this year. The Patriots might be the number one seed in the AFC if something goes right for them this weekend, but it doesn't feel like the Patriots of old when they're a team that's only beaten two teams with over a 500 record. So when you break it down, you're going into this postseason in the National Football League, and you're like, where do I put my bananas? Is there a favorite here? Who do I believe is going to give you the best chance to make a run? And in that spiel, we didn't even mention the Packers, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Seattle Seahawks. So many teams that the minute you speak their name, the thought comes to your mind, this team could make a run. All right, let's get into the NFL top 5 heading into week number 18. Here's how it rolls. I take you 5 through 1. The list is on your screen. I will dissect it for you now. Starting with, hot take. Nah, that's not it. Starting with number 5. My number 5 team is going to be the Houston Texans. This is the first time all year I've actually had the Houston Texans in my NFL top 5. They started the season 0-3. Heading into week 18, they sit at 11-5. For those not great math goers at home, that's 11-2 over the last 13 weeks of football. They are doing something that only 5 other teams have done in the National Football League, which is in history. Start 0-3 and then make it to the postseason. They're doing it with a defense that is number 1 in the league in opponents' points per game. They are holding teams to roughly 16.5 points per game. That is a 1.5 better than the number 2 team in the league. The reason, however, I'm not putting them higher on this top 5, and the reason, however, this is the first time they've reached our top 5, is because I still have some question marks about this offense. Now, CJ Stroud is a legitimate thrower of the quarterback. CJ Stroud is a legitimate athlete. CJ Stroud legitimately knows how to handle an offense, but something has been off for this offense all year, but it's started to trend in the right direction as the year has trekked forward. That has resulted in them scoring only roughly 23 points per game. That's mid-level 16th in the league. That is my only concern. They have a top 5 defense, and I've talked about this for the existence of the Rome Show, but especially this football season. A top 5, top 10 defense is the most important thing you need for a run. The Texans have that, and that is why they are my number 5 team in the National Football League heading into week 18. Your numero cuatro. That's going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars, also on my list for the first time all year. Here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. You can't believe it until you believe it. I know that sounds like a wildly stupid, easy statement, but it's just the truth, okay? When is the last time you saw Jacksonville Jaguars team give you confidence and belief that they were, one, going to be good, but two, going to be 12-4 good, with Trevor Lawrence actually playing some of the best quarterback in the National Football League? It's a while. That's the answer to that question. It might be Blake Bortles headed up to New England roughly 8 years ago, or whatever the case is. Nonetheless, a lot of this Jacksonville Jaguars team came down to, one, the eye test just for me personally. I had to see it and see it again and see it again and then see it again. But then when they went to Denver, okay, and they defeated the Broncos on the road in what was truly, in my opinion, a gut check, how good of a football team are you type game. And they won that football game, played well, turned over Bo Nix, made the Broncos look not great at home. I really said to myself, man, this could be a team. And now, with a chance for the 1 seed in the AFC, or at least some games to go through Jacksonville or Duval, I mean, hey, you got to start believing in the Jacksonville Jaguars. By the way, Trevor Lawrence on the year, 3,700 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. However, over the last 5 games, with which the now they're on a 7-game winning streak. But if you look at the last 5 games, Trevor Lawrence has thrown for 11 touchdown passes and 1 interception. In that same time, he's also carried 4 rushing touchdowns. So 15 total touchdowns to 1 interception over the last 5 games. And over the last 7, the Jacksonville Jaguars have not lost a game. They are your numero cuatro squadron in the National Football League. By the way, that Jags are 9th in the league in opponents' points per game on defense and 7th in the league in points per game offensively. Let's go to our 3.
Wait.
Yeah, that's the New England Patriots. And I actually really believe in this team. And no, do I think that they had a hard schedule? Do I think that schedule bodes well for them? No, but I think they have the right head ball coach, the right quarterback, and the right mindset inside of that room. Absolutely. I heard McAfee say something about another team this week on this similar mindset, and I thought about it with the New England Patriots, and simply what McAfee said was, it is fun to watch your team. They clearly enjoy playing for each other. And the best teams, there's no great teams without we really like each other, okay? McAfee, and I'm going to keep quoting him here because I thought it was the best way you could put it, bad teams either like each other and are bad or hate each other. Good teams are never good and don't like each other. They always tend to love each other. There always has to be that love in the building. And when I heard McAfee say that about a different team, I immediately thought about Mike Vrabel and the New England Patriots. And I'm like, maybe that's the secret intangible here inside that building. For the first time, probably since the 1 year Mac Jones took them to the playoffs, I think that was 2021, but not a lot of belief in that. For the first time since the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick era ended, I think you feel like you have a legitimate future and present if you're the New England Patriots. And that's a really good feeling. And that feeling, that energy inside of a building is palpable. Okay. And so they now have a chance to lock up that number 1 seed, have the AFC postseason go through them. And we've seen the 35-year history of people having to deal with going to New England. Even if the Patriots aren't the best team in the league, having to go there is difficult. Then you add in the fact that this is the 5th best defense overall in the league, 5th best in opponents' points per game in the league, and they are number 10 in the league offensively, quietly. Now, I don't know what's going on with Stephon Diggs. That's a messed up story. Not even going to get into it. Look it up yourself. We retweeted some stuff, the Rome Show 1 on Twitter X, if you want to take a look. But I don't know how that affects the team in the postseason run. But nonetheless, top 5 defense, top 10 offense, playing with a lot of moxie, could be home for most of the postseason, if not all, and a head coach has got something to prove and I think is really good at his job. That's your number
3. Wait.
3 team, and that was the New England Patriots. Let's continue on for our number 2. And just remember, I love the people's thoughts on the top 5. And I post it on the social media after every show so people can give me their thoughts and their opinions. But the Romanella's on YouTube, the Rome Show 1 on Twitter, X, and Instagram. If you want to give us your thoughts, and your thoughts can be that I'm an idiot, and I'm okay with that too. What did I say? Oh, number 2. Yeah, let's call that the San Francisco 49ers. Offensively, they're number 7 in the league in points per game at nearly 26, tied with, I believe, the aforementioned Jacksonville Jaguars. Purdy and the squad, 326.6 yards per game. They're putting it up right now, and they're the number 10 rushing offense in the league with 110 yards per game. Their defense, and I mentioned this after the shootout the other day with the Bears, their defense needs to play a little better with him under Robert Saleh, but they're 13th in the league right now, okay? And they got some injuries. They also lost their best player halfway through the year in Warner, and you cannot pretend like that's not a big deal. Okay, but I have them as the number 2 team because of how well they've been playing over the last 7 weeks, how well their quarterback, Brock Purdy, is playing. Again, Rome Show podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast, we talked about this week. Go back on it. The confidence, the swag, man, the weapons. Jawan Jennings is your best wide receiver. Christian McCaffrey is like about to be 1,000 yards receiving and rushing in the same season. Greg Kittles, Pearsall. This is a really good offense. And when Brock Purdy is playing up to that contract standard, if not beyond that contract that he signed, and Kyle Shanahan, I think, is a Mount Rushmore coach in this league. I know he doesn't have a Super Bowl yet, but he does more with less than anyone I've ever seen. And considering Mac Jones has 3 wins as a starting quarterback this year, and the New England Patriots got rid of him and didn't believe they could build a franchise around him. So less about the numbers on this team, more about the feel. Here's the last thing I'll say about the 49ers, especially if you're planning on putting down some in the postseason. If there's a team that I think is the favorite, that's the wrong word, actually. If there's a team I think you should put your money on this team because everything's a crapshoot, I'm putting it on the San Francisco 49ers. Why? Because every year before this, okay, we believed they could win the Super Bowl, and they didn't. Now, they might have made it a few times, but they didn't. Whereas this year, no one's talking about the Niners. I actually think a lot more question marks were around the Niners than people have believing they had answers. Starting with the quarterback position, moving to which wide receiver's holding out, which one's not, then going to the defense. I feel like there's a linebacker hurt every year, and then to the coach. Though I think he's great, does everyone think he's great? I.e. the Mike Tomlin conversation we've been having in Pittsburgh. Okay? So this is that year then. That's what I got to believe. When you're in the shadows and no one's talking about you, I've always believed that that is the best place to be, especially as a football team that is 12-4 and playing their best football heading into the postseason. The San Fran 49ers are your number 2. All right. Time for your number. No. Time for your number 1. Oh, no. And it's the Seattle Seahawks, and I've been reluctant to put them in this position all season, and I think it's because Sam Darnold's the quarterback, and I think that's wrong of me. I'm going to be honest here with the people. I think that I've been too hard on Sam Darnold because the only thing he's done last year in Minnesota and this year in Seattle is prove to people that he is good enough. Only a few quarterbacks in the NFL have won 13 or more games in back-to-back seasons with a chance to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. Sam Darnold is one of those quarterbacks. And not only that, he did that feat on 2 different teams. It's not like Geno Smith and Pete Carroll, though that's a whole nother conversation because that's clearly not the answer in Las Vegas either. They didn't have an insanely different roster 2 years ago. Maybe McDonald came in last year with Geno Smith in the hybrid year and had a similar roster, but Sam Darnold is the clear and above difference in this scenario. Okay, Mike McDonald has now been there for 2 years. This is his system. This is a 1-year situation with Sam Darnold. And boy, does this team look ridiculously different. And on top of being the number 2 scoring offense in the league right now, how about the fact that they're the number 6 scoring offense in the league? They're the number 2 scoring defense in the league at 18.1 points per game given up. And I think that is why I believe the most in Seattle, and that is why I give Seattle the nod as the number 1 team in the National Football League headed into Week 18 because they seem the most complete to me. Because I also don't think, here are the quarterbacks in this top 5. Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, Drake May, CJ Stroud, and Trevor Lawrence. If you went to number 6 and number 7, my 6th place team would be the Broncos, Bo Nix. 7th would be Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams. Until you get to Matthew Stafford, who could be a future Hall of Famer, I'm not discrediting that. How many of those top 5 quarterbacks are you like, man, this is that guy? He's going to win us every single game. He's never going to throw a bad interception to lose us the game. No. They're all the same. They've all had like 2 or 3 games this year where you're scratching your head like, what the hell is going on? They've all had 8 or 9 games this year where they're Joe Montana in their prime. And then they've all had 2 or 3 other games where they're just a really good quarterback, if not a great quarterback. Okay? Why am I saying that? Because once I got over the fact that Sam Darnold is just like every other quarterback in the league right now, there's really no one singular quarterback for the given 18 weeks of the season that is electric. There are guys that are 6-7 week spans. We're in it right now with Trevor Lawrence, in it right now with Brock Purdy. Hell, we're in it right now with CJ Stroud and some other guys. We could go on. I say that to finish with, that is now why I believe in the Seattle Seahawks, because Sam Darnold is a top quarterback in this league. And I have to personally stop thinking about what's gone on in the past with him and start believing what is currently going on in the last 2 seasons. That is your National Football League top 5. Heading into week number 18, which is wild to think that we have had 18 weeks of football to this point. Before we get to our commercial break, here are some of the scenarios we are working with this weekend, in the NFL. The Seahawks and the 49ers. This one's a simple one. The winner gets the number 1 seed and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Bing, bang, done. Okay? I'm not a big believer as much anymore in home field advantage being the most important thing, but I got to imagine that heading up to Seattle in the cold with the 12th man for every game to get to the Super Bowl for anyone would be very difficult. The 49ers, however, I think they could travel the best. They could be at home. They're just really good right now. So that is the first scenario. Your second scenario is the Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers. This is a twofold scenario. Here's the Bucs side. They need to beat Carolina, and then they need Atlanta to lose, because now that Atlanta won and has a chance to be 8-9 to finish the season, that would unlock another type of tiebreaker that would then now the Bucs lose that tiebreaker. Now, if the Bucs win and Atlanta loses, the Bucs are the number 1 seed. On the flip side, the Panthers just need to win. But if they don't, they can still get some help by the Falcons, who, if the Falcons win, then the Bucs lose the tiebreaker regardless, and Panthers would be in. How about the NFC South? Again, chance for an under 500 team to make the postseason. The Denver Broncos, they'll be the number 1 seed in the AFC with a win or a Patriots and Jags loss. So if they don't win, they need 2 separate things to happen. The flip on the Jags, they're going to win the AFC South, which is still up for a fight right now with Houston with a win, or the Texans lose. Okay. And then they could still be the number 1 seed, but they would need to win, and theirs is different. It's not an or, it's an and for the Jags. The Broncos and the Pats would also have to lose. Speaking of the Pats, they could be the number 1 seed with a win and the aforementioned Broncos losing. I know, crazy stuff, right? Not done yet, though. I think there's still one more, and that's the Ravens and the Steelers. It's an easy one, though. Winner, AFC North champion. Loser, not in the postseason. So those are all your scenarios heading into the National Football League final regular season weekend. You gotta love when the schedule makers get it right, and a lot of games on the last weekend matter. That was their goal when they changed the schedule 5-10 years ago. Can't remember the exact date, but they changed the schedule to start playing division rivals later in the season so that things like this could happen. Like, most specifically, the AFC North, the 1v1, one game, winner takes all, loser, you're not even the postseason. The NFC South, those types of things were why they changed the schedule to have these games versus division rivals late in the season. Now, do I think that the Panthers and the Bucs should be playing each other twice in the last 3 weeks? No, that's really dumb. I don't know how we came up with that portion of the schedule, but nonetheless, this is going to be an electric week 18 of the National Football League season. We take a quick commercial break. We come back with top 4 Rome Show moments of 2025. I even got like a little video thing here for you people. Nothing recklessly spectacular. Chill, okay? I got my number 1 lesson for you to take into 2026. And, of course, our third favorite segment, second favorite segment, I don't know.
Whatcha watching
on New Year's weekend. It's the Rome Show. December 31st, New Year's Eve, getting ready to drop the ball. Stay with us. Back in a minute.
What is one thing every great leader has in common? They challenge their people to not stop at the first right answer. Tighten the Lug Nuts is a leadership book that will teach you how to move past the first right answer with entertaining and detailed examples founded in real-world concepts and experiences. Accelerate towards your professional goals with Tighten the Lug Nuts, one of the best leadership books available.
Welcome back into the Rome Show here on a Wednesday. It's also known as New Year's Eve, December 31st, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm Andrew Romanella. That's what they call me. This is the Rome Show. That's what they call that. YouTube.com/the Romanellas is where you should go to subscribe for all of the Romanellas content, but most specifically, the live version of the Rome Show. You can also go to one of our favorite social media sites. We call it Twitter X on this show. That would be the Rome Show 1. That's also the handle for our Instagram as well. We got 4 moments from 2025 that we are super proud of here on the Rome Show, and we'd love to get going with letting you know those 4 moments. Must I say this before we get into it? I am insanely proud of what's going on here on the Rome Show. I think that success is defined differently by everybody. And I listened to something this week that's really hit home with me. And I think it's something that I have to keep reminding myself when it comes to this microphone and when it comes to this studio and what happens with this show. And it's that it's all incremental increase. It's all step by step, block by block, brick by brick, piece by piece, whatever cliche you want to use. That is what building this Rome Show empire is. And in 2025, though to maybe the person outside the Rome Show family, the numbers don't look gaudy. We're not at 1 million viewers. We're not followed by thousands of people yet. In our world, we have some things in 2025 that have really made me believe more so than ever in the direction of this show and what we are trying to do turn the year into 2026, which will be our 8th year as an iteration. I call it an iteration of the Rome Show because it has transformed so many different ways. But what a fun year 2025 was from the standpoint of growth. So let's get into that for the people. Here's what I got for you. Let's get it started. Your top 4 moments of 2025. Oh, yeah. Let's go with
Watchin.
Oh, no.
Numero quattro.
Oh, yeah. That's Hockey with Rocky. True blast having the chance to spend one day a week with my brother. What a good time having him come on the show. It's equally as much fun to have him talk about the National Hockey League as it is just to have him on the show to talk to me and disagree with every one of my sports opinion. But I'm really proud of what we did this year in the Hockey with Rocky realm. We got a few Hockey with Rocky references on this top 4, but one of my favorite moments of the year is not one singular moment. It's a moment weekly where I had the chance to be on the Rome Show with my brother. It is a blast. That's our
numero quattro.
Rome Show moment of 2024. Let's go to
3.
Wait.
Oh, yeah. How about the new logo that we introduced, ladies and gentlemen? There it is on your screen. If you haven't seen it, you got to see it. We wanted to get my face out of there. You know, I love me some me, and maybe the people love you some me too, but it's not that much loving on me that you want my face everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So we tried to create a more simple logo in 2025 that could very much depict hopefully the coolness of the show, because we're trying to do here, regular person's talk show, but at the same time, maybe something that people can get behind as we start to create the gear. Here's a look at our first hoodie with the headphone logo. We had 5 contestant winners at the end of 2025 who should be receiving these hoodies during the month of January. Again, one-man band here, though I feel really excited about where this one-man band is traveling. That's your number
3.
Wait.
Moment of 2025. Let's go to number 2.
Number 2.
Oh, yeah. How about this? And it is a Hockey with Rocky segment, ladies and gentlemen. We reached on one live show in early November, late October. We reached over 400 live views. And I got to be honest with you, it was one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of, because I'm sitting here on the back end. I'm talking to you guys about the show. And in the top right, there's this little counter that goes up. Okay. And the fact of the matter is it combines the sites that you're streaming on. Okay. But I believe the 2 that I'm getting counted on right now are Twitter, X, okay, and YouTube. All right. So I look at that top right and the counter goes up or it goes down if someone leaves watching the show, whatever. And the one day we're watching the show, number 2 moment of the year, and it's going up and up and up. It's like that song. We're going up, up, up into the moment, right? I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. And it was a Hockey with Rocky segment. I think the official number was 442 on the final tally. But I got to be honest with you, that was one of the cooler moments I got to experience this year, watching that number tick up and watching, I guess, even in that 1 22-minute burst, your true work be celebrated by clearly a lot of people that I've never met in my life before. We love it. Let's keep listening. That was number
2.
Ryan Leach.
All right, let's keep it cooking because we love number 1s.
Number 1.
How about the invention of the Romanella YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen? We left 12 Ounce Sports in August, and it was super difficult to make the decision to take the venture to bring the Rome Show into our own platform. It's the best way I could put it. And my fiance and I had this idea in May that we wanted to maybe get going on a YouTube channel. I've been begging her to get on social media and have people follow her life for a really long time at Juliana Moves on Instagram and TikTok, if you'd like to see it officially happened. But we started our own YouTube channel in May. Okay. And it was really just a fun venture for her and I to get into. And then middle of August happens and we find out 12 Ounce Sports is no longer going to be. And I'm not going to lie, that was devastating. Like, I was devastated outside the fact that some financial capital came in for the show, though be it not a lot, but more than zero. On top of that, you had the streaming platform. You had the person that could stream. You just had to show up and turn your microphone on. Now I got to pay for the streaming site. We got to figure out how to get it done. Are we going to keep this show at 7 a.m.? Where the hell are we even streaming this thing? I don't have the rights to stream to Twitter X right now. I don't have the rights to stream to Facebook right now. And when we turn around, we look back on the last 6 months, we've gained 42 subscribers on the YouTube channel, which I cannot describe to you how proud I am of those 42 subscribers and over 73,000 views. Come on now. 73,000? Not all on the Rome Show, I know. But the Romanella's YouTube in general, and that really makes me a proud person as somebody that is directly working on this thing on a day-to-day basis to make it the best it can be, to make it as entertaining as it can be. I am insanely proud of our number one moment of the year. And it maybe isn't a moment as much as it's a thing that happened out of necessity, but dang, am I proud. That, ladies and gentlemen, is your Rome Show. Top moments of 2025. I think a lot of weird things happened in 2025 outside of the walls of this studio, but I'm very proud that we can say that inside the walls of this studio, we've had a fantastic year. How about Megan Aussie to Gawk Roger writes in, Happy New Year's from down under. 30 minutes into 2026. How about that, Megan? That is so cool. So I guess technically what I should be saying is it's the Rome Show. We're broadcasting live on youtube.com/the Romanellas. Happy December 31st, New Year's Eve in America. Happy New Year in Australia. Wow. That is pretty cool. Megan, thank you for writing in. I hope you're having a great time at your New Year's party. I'll be hosting a New Year's party tonight, which I'm very excited about. And I cannot wait. I'm a huge house party person. I don't need the bars and all the crazy crowds and the amount of money spent out there. Give me a house party. Give me some music. Maybe somebody's on the iPod, or if we're a cool enough house party, maybe we have a legitimate DJ. We're not. Me and my fiance are good enough. She's a great enough DJ, actually. We'll do the DJ. Okay. But Megan, thank you for writing in, man. I hope you are having. Oh, I'm the first person to get your name right. That makes me really happy, Meg, and she's having a good time. Meg, thank you for writing. And I cannot explain to you how much I appreciate the fact that you are listening to us right now while celebrating the new year and listening to us from Australia. Meg, I hope we can hear from you on a daily basis here on the Rome Show. I'm taking a quick 30 seconds, and then we're going to come back and we're going to finish this show. I got one thought for you that I need you to take with you to 2026 and our final What You Watching of the 2025 year. Man, that's exciting. New Year's Eve edition of the Rome Show. New Year's edition in Australia of the Rome Show. Back in 30. Stay with us.
What is one thing every great leader has in common? They challenge their people to not stop at the first right answer. Tighten the Lug Nuts is a leadership book that will teach you how to move past the first right answer with entertaining and detailed examples founded in real-world concepts and experiences. Accelerate towards your professional goals with Tighten the Lug Nuts, one of the best leadership books available.
Welcome back into the Rome Show. A few minutes left here on our American New Year's Eve edition, our Australian New Year's edition of the Rome Show. 8:39, state of New Jersey, December 31st. I got a lesson, a thought, an idea, something I learned from 2026 that I want to get across to the people because I feel like it's important. I'm not a big New Year's resolution person. Okay. I'm not somebody that's like, oh, the calendar's changing tomorrow. Now, all of a sudden, I'm going to be the greatest version of myself. And when I say that, I'm also not trying to disrespect anyone that does do that. Okay. That's just not me. What I am is I'm somebody, and I thank my godfather for this, because when I was in high school, I went through what I called a lifestyle change, which for a lot of people is a diet or a weight loss change, okay? And when I was going through this, what I guess we call a diet or a eating change or lifestyle change, my godfather said to me, Andrew, this isn't a temporary thing. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm really trying to lose this weight right now. Like, I really want to get this weight off. Like, I'm about to be a senior in high school. I don't like the way I look. I want to be a better athlete, all these things. He's like, when you embark on something like this, it is not a momentary thing if you want it to stick. If you want it to stick, it's a lifestyle change. If you want it to stick 15, 20, 30 years from now, an iteration or a variation of what you're doing right now for your life to better your life will still be present. So you eating healthier, you putting better things in your system, you working out more, you training better is not a momentary fix if you want it to stick. It better be a lifestyle change if you want it to be a lifestyle change. And I've held on to that for the last 17 years. And so where my opinion of I'm not a New Year's resolution person guy comes from is not that I think that is stupid. No, it's the opposite. It is that it cannot work for me. Because if I stop and start, or if I start anew every single year, I'm going to be a jack of all lifestyles, a master of no lifestyle. I'm going to have some working out and some eating healthy and some doing more reading or some doing more walking or whatever the scenario I want to do better in 2026 is, I would not succeed to my highest level. For me, I have to make a conscious effort on something to make it happen all the time. Weight loss, one example, making my bed another. Okay. I don't know when it started. Obviously, my mother is where it started. Okay. But something clicked in me. And maybe it was when I read the book on the Navy SEALs. I heard a few people speak about it. Like it was like early on in my career that was a really big thing, the make your bed movement. And I still agree with it to this day. But I mean, in terms of that book, that speaker, all of those things. So I don't know when it really clicked for me. But to make your bed every single day, it's a task accomplished. I take that. I do three. It's a drink your water. It's a make your bed. It's a brush your teeth. Or to drink your water. It's a brush your teeth. It's a do your radio show. It's a make your bed. Wow, that's now it's all of a sudden it's four, right? So for me, that is why I'm not a New Year's resolution person. I am a try and be conscious about one thing. And if, by the way, the turn of the new year makes me want to do that thing, the next year, this time, I'm not going to be contemplating anew. I'm going to be making sure that I didn't waste 365 days on something that I really thought was important for me. So going into 2026, the biggest thing that I took from 2025 that I want to bring with me, okay, is that I need to surround myself with the most positive people. And I have to continue to work on my inner circle. If you go to the Romanellas on YouTube, Juliana and I do a side quest called the Locker Room to Life podcast. And on the Locker Room to Life podcast, we've done 4 episodes so far. On the Locker Room to Life podcast, Juliana discusses you are the representation of the 5 people you surround yourself with, essentially. Okay. And I've heard this before. I've discussed this with people. I've witnessed this be a thing. both on my college teams as a player and as a coach and other scenarios. And recently, what feels like an avalanche of change for me, I think is resulting in a mindset that I've needed for a really long time. If these people are not bettering you, if these people are not making you more positive, if these people are not bringing good to you, they should not be in your circle. You should not waste your time on them. And there is no amount of time that you've been friends with somebody or not been friends with somebody to dictate that. Just because you've known somebody for 10, 15, 20 years doesn't mean that they are on the higher level than the person you've known for 1 or 2, because that person you just met might be the most important person in your life right now, especially. Whether it's the positive vibes they bring, the effort they put into their life, the morals, the values, and the characteristics that they're all about, that is probably more important than the person that you deal with because you've known them. And this year, I went on this rant, Rome Show podcast, wherever you get your podcast, a few weeks ago. It was a straight off the Rome about trimming my friend tree because certain people have decided they don't want to treat me with respect, and certain people have decided that they see our friendship differently than I see our friendship. Well, my conclusion on that is this. When I go to 2026 and beyond, like I said, this is not a New Year's resolution. This is I learned this in 2025. I need this moving forward, starting with now. Tomorrow, the new year. I want to try and surround myself at all times, no matter what, no matter how hard it is, with the most positive, motivating people I can find. And I've already done that with the person I'm going to marry, because my fiance is the greatest. She is literally the best. She's my biggest supporter. She's always got a smile on her face. There's no one that works harder than this woman that I've ever met in my entire life. And yet she will always be there for me. She will always be my backbone, and she will never bat an eyelash. That is the support everybody needs. That is the people, the person, the human everyone should have in their life. So my number one lesson that I feel like I learned straight to the gut punch in 2025 is that I am only working on the group of people around me. I am only attempting to surround myself with people that are the most positive, and they are going to build me up rather than bring me down. And I'm going to try. Okay, this is my PSA to the people. I personally am going to try the hardest to be that for everybody else. And honestly, starting with my baseball team, outside of my beautiful fiance, I think I failed in the past at maybe doing that 100% of the time for my own team. So I'd like to take my own advice on that so that the players can look at it and go, we want to be around Romo because he feels like one of those positive circle vibe peoples to me. Surround yourself with positive people because your circle matters. That is literally the best thing I learned in 2025. Meg writes back in. I never leave the house if my bed is not made. It was instilled in me by my grandmother from a young age. I called my friends list after my dad passed, really learned who my true friends are at that time. You know what's crazy, Megan? And I find this wild. And I really, again, appreciate your writing, especially from Australia, celebrating the new year. God, it's like the coolest thing that's ever happened on the Rome Show. Thank you for firing me up like that. What in the worst of times is actually when you find out the most. That's what's crazy. Whether it's something bad happening to you, maybe a death in the family, or just a tough time, a tough period. It's kind of wild how that is what's usually going to open up this can of worms. And that could be a tough moment for your perceived friend or tight friend or best friend, whatever terminology you want to use, that actually makes their primal instinct revert to, I don't need this person in my life, or flip it to you where you're in that tough moment, that hard moment, and you're like, I can really use this friend, and their primal instinct is, I don't want to be there for you. It's usually in those worst of time scenarios that this really rears its ugly head. Meg, the Rome show is here for you. If for some reason these people are not being here for you, and hopefully we can go through this together. It ain't easy. And my parents always told me that, like, oh, your friends are going to change all the time. And, put that on the list of things that you didn't listen to your parents say as you were growing up, or your college baseball coach, or your professor, or your mentor. Dude, your friends group's going to change. This is going to change. That's going to change. Everything's going to change. And you're like, no, it's not. I love this guy. Me and him, we're the bestest of friends. They're the best. And then it changed. And you're like, no way. I guess my mom was right. I guess my dad was right. That happens to me way too often as I get older. All right, people. The last segment of the day is arguably the segment that has been on this show the longest. It is Whatcha Watchin', and it is happening right now, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day and the days after weekend. You don't get this often, okay? I've always said I think Thursday is like the new start of the weekend, especially with all the work from home that goes on Friday moving into the weekend. So you got New Year's Day on Thursday. Then you got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to recoup before we all have to go back to work, and the reality sets in that we're 3.5 months away till Easter, a break, or anything else that feels like maybe it's not cold anymore in the Northeast. So what are you going to watch during this time period? Let's start with the CF show. Yeah, I know. I say this every time. You remember the college football playoffs going on right now? It's dumb, okay? It's been like 28 days since Ohio State and Indiana have played. Like, I don't think that is a good idea. Last year, all 4 teams with a first-round bye lost because it's been a month. They're completely different teams. They haven't played. Like, I think this is the dumbest thing ever. I could rant 40 hours on college football right now. I don't know if you saw what's going on at Iowa State. 40 dudes in the transfer portal, only 16 guys on their roster right now. That ain't sustainable, and this isn't fun either. Like, I don't think this is enjoyable. That's just my personal opinion. I enjoy watching football, and damn do I enjoy watching some good games. I don't enjoy what's going on in college sports, most specifically college football. And I've always hated this stupid break in the CFP. Nonetheless, 4 games this weekend. You got 1 today kicked off, and then you got 3 coming up on Friday. I believe tonight's game is Alabama versus Oklahoma, but I could be wrong. Either way, get it. Miami, Ohio State. That's tonight. And then the next 3 are tomorrow. CFP, that is. Whatcha Watchin'. Let's continue on to New Year's Day, the second day after New Year's. So I guess that'd be called January 2nd on your calendar. How about the Winter Classic? The Winter Classic, not on January 1st, on January 2nd, and not in a warm weather climate state in Florida. Yes. I don't know if you remember. Maybe you didn't. Here's what it's going to look like, though, ladies and gentlemen. We got a picture for you here. Winter Classic inside Lone Depot Park, home of the Miami Marlins. That will be the New York Rangers taking on the Florida Panthers. That game will get started at 8 p.m. So if you're looking to watch some hockey in Florida inside, but perceived as outside because it's a baseball stadium, bang, Winter Classic, January 2nd. That is Whatcha Watchin'. Finally, the National Football League. I mean, we went through every scenario, okay? There's like 7 different playoff scenarios that are happening on Saturday and Sunday in the National Football League. And I got to be honest with the people, okay? It's going to be a lot of fun. And both games on Saturday matter. Okay, so it starts on Saturday, and then it's 36 straight hours of playoff possibility, what's going to happen football, and it's exciting. So on January 3rd and January 4th, you better saddle up because Whatcha Watchin' is the National Football League. Think about this for a second, okay? This could be the best Whatcha Watchin' of the year because you have 31st, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. You got 5 days of Watchin. I mean, come on, man. How could you not start the new year off on the right foot with the opportunity to Watchin all of those sports? All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our New Year's spectacular Rome show. We got another comment here before we go. Let's go Seahawks. Megan, let's go you for crushing your write-ins on the show today. To Megan from Australia, Happy New Year. Thank you for sending us off into 2026 the right way with your support. To you peoples out there that are supporting, listening, subscribing, liking, and sharing, thank you. Let's keep the Rome show growing in 2026. No show tomorrow. Maybe a show Friday. We'll return no matter what, though, Monday, January 5th. Until then, Happy New Year. Be safe. We'll see you in 2026. Andrew Romanella, be electric. Peace.